Recently, some patriotic Chinese have drawn online attention. These people deeply believe in Chinese communism, yet they find themselves abandoned by the government. Former wolf warriors have now become a laughingstock. Even if I entered illegally, I'm still a Chinese citizen, right? I'm facing such a dangerous situation, and I really think you should help me. Even if you can't send me back to China right away, at least show some concern. Recently, a retired armed police officer, Awan, who had just escaped from northern Myanmar back to China, shared his experience with Chinese media. In 2021, he was tricked by a man with a Fujian accent into going to a Myanmar enclave. Awan refused to participate in a scam and was punished. He eventually escaped one night and sought help from the embassy. In his phone call, he said, "I have devoted my youth to the country, and now I'm in trouble. Please help me." The embassy's response was cold, saying, "There's nothing we can do," and there was no further communication. Awan's case eventually alerted the local immigration office. He was handed over to the police, then to court, and sentenced to 5 years in prison. During his sentence, his family spent over 500,000 yuan, about $69,000, trying to get him released, but failed. Finally, in August 2023, Myanmar granted amnesty to all foreigners, and Awan was allowed to return to China. After his escape, Awan expressed his disappointment with the embassy's indifference. He said he had once been the top tier of the Shenzhen Armed Police, dedicating his youth to China. However, some online users have suggested that the embassy's indifference is not surprising, claiming that the Chinese embassy in Myanmar is involved in scamming operations, with their leadership in Beijing. Another video from November 26 showed a retired soldier in Xinjiang, dressed in military garb, standing outside in the cold to demand his unpaid wages. His sign read, "I'm hungry, I want to eat, I just want to live. Give me my hard-earned money, I beg for justice." Many expressed sympathy online, but others remarked, the former enforcer of stability have now become the objects of stability maintenance. This is the fate of those who sold their lives to the CCP, enabling evil. There's no such thing as an innocent party. The outcome of this veterans' protest is unknown, but such tragic cases are common. A dissident from Guangdong, now living in the Netherlands, Zhang Guorui, recounted a similar story about an old soldier. This man, who had been in charge of tank maintenance, was severely injured in a war with his legs crushed. However, he now receives just 150 yuan, about $20 a month in subsidies. Zhang said this experience helped him understand the true nature of the Chinese Communist Party. Zhang recalled how, as a child, he was unaware of the CCP's oppression of the people. He thought the CCP was, quote, great, glorious, and correct, believing all the government's narratives were just. He later realized that even his great-grandfather had been persecuted by the CCP during the land reform movement, which led to his death. As a child, Zhang had viewed this as a historical tragedy, but did not understand it was at the direction of the CCP. He now regrets this. This is the fate that soldiers who once risked their lives for the party now have to face. The CCP's treatment of its ardent adherents reflects how it also treats ordinary citizens. On November 26, a man from Weifang City in Shandong posted a video saying that he had parked his car along the roadside to go to a restaurant. When he returned, he found that his car, along with others, had received parking tickets for illegal parking. However, the car parked next to his, belonging to a court official, also dining at the same restaurant, did not receive a ticket. He felt this was unfair. The next day, he received a call asking him to delete the video. The man stated, "I have my right to autonomy. I was taught from a young age that the people have the right to freedom of speech." However, this argument was not accepted by the traffic police, and the fine was not revoked. Later, the man posted another video online complaining about the situation. "A lot of people in the comments are saying I should get fined for illegal parking. Let me explain. I have no problem with getting fined for parking illegally. You can fine me. I accept it. I was wrong. I'm not complaining because I got fined. I just want an explanation. Why is it that the court cars are ignored? They park in a row and nothing happened to them. I just want to know, why are government vehicles not fined, but our cars are? It's just that simple." But no one has answered me directly. On X, one user commented, "Laws and regulations are meant to constrain the people, but those who serve the people make the laws. You think you're the master of the country, but in reality, the country only treats you as cattle." Another user remarked, "When a government fails to make the country prosperous and its people wealthy and secure, injustice is inevitable." Experts have pointed out that this is the root problem of the CCP itself. With absolute power, but no institutional or moral constraints, the CCP has created a system where the government acts as the athlete, coach, and referee all at once. In this system, the people have no say. Users on X have said, "Every Chinese citizen must recognize that they are ruled, not served. If you don't see this, you are sure to face misfortune." There are more and more wolf warriors turning into clowns, and even if some wolf warrior trainees abroad are making a mockery of themselves, on November 30th, the Hong Kongers based in Leeds group in the UK organized a silent protest in the city centre against the sentencing of the Hong Kong 47 case regarding pro-democracy activists. During the protest, a young Chinese man in a blue shirt threw a milkshake, splashing a protest sign. The man fled with two others, but members of the protest group chased him down and called the police. The three individuals behaved aggressively, repeatedly insulting the Hong Kongers, while one of the two accomplices said, "Calling the police is fine, just ask the UK police if they adhere to the One China principle." During the pursuit, the milkshake-throwing man got separated and panicked. He called the Chinese embassy for help but was rejected. The embassy told him to accept the UK police's handling of the situation. This behavior was ridiculed by overseas users. One person commented, "This is a typical case of brainwashed individuals, unable to think or understand logic, just clowns who think they are part of the CCP's elite." In recent years, such incidents have become more common. For instance, in August 2024, a Chinese influencer posted a video accusing the Evergreen Laurel Hotel in Paris of refusing to hang the Chinese national flag during the Olympics. The hotel's management responded that the flag was not included in their international flag order and that they had the right to decide the interior decor. However, after the video went viral, some users began to question Zhang's motives, later discovering that his two sons are US citizens and his patriotism may have been a marketing ploy. Another example occurred in August 2023, when a group of Chinese students in East London painted a local graffiti wall white and sprayed slogans related to the CCP. They later posted on social media claiming they were promoting socialist values. The students were apparently fined £800 for graffiti and improper posting. Ironically, after the controversy, some protesters went to the graffiti wall and sprayed other messages over the core socialist values they had originally painted. For example, someone wrote, "No freedom in China," and others posted anti-Xi Jinping slogans. The most well-known overseas incident involving Chinese nationals was the British pianist incident. In January, pianist Brendan Kavanagh was performing live at London's King's Cross St. Pancras station when he captured several Chinese people holding Chinese flags. These individuals angrily shouted at him, demanding that he stop filming, citing portrait rights and insisting he follow Chinese law. Canadian investigative journalist Sam Cooper, while sharing a post revealing Zhang Ning's identity, said, "It's the same network interfering in Canadian elections, universities, media, trying to divide our society with fake protests. This is how UFWD and MSS take action." Retired U.S. Army Colonel, biochemical warfare defense expert, and global operations director at AstraZeneca, Lawrence Sellin, wrote, "Now a major international incident. It appears that pro-CCP Chinese verbally abused piano player Brendan Kavanagh in England. In my opinion, there are clear footprints of the CCP United Front Work Department responsible for influence in intelligence operations overseas. Why have such incidents been happening frequently overseas in recent years? Experts believe the reason may lie in China's unique style of diplomacy, wolf warrior diplomacy. Throughout the history of China, the highest goal of diplomacy has been to turn swords into plowshares. When two countries are on the brink of conflict, skilled diplomats can step in with wisdom and courage to resolve the crisis and restore peace. However, today's Chinese diplomats seem to do the opposite, showcasing a style that is rude, aggressive, and extreme. The results are often embarrassing. For example, when the White House called for the U.S. government to ban TikTok, Chinese Foreign Minister spokesperson Mao Ning responded this way.
The United States, as the world's #1 superpower, is so scared of an app that young people like to use? That's a lack of confidence. We oppose the US overgeneralizing the concept of national security and abusing its national power to unfairly suppress foreign companies.
In response, some online commentators pointed out it's clearly the Chinese government that has banned more foreign apps. Facebook, Instagram, and X have all been banned, replaced by Chinese apps. Even search engines like Google are replaced by Baidu. Why is China criticizing the US for banning TikTok? Another example, when the US provided financial and military aid to Ukraine, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin gave this response. American military industrial companies are making huge profits off the Ukrainian battlefield. Where's their conscience? The US once had a policy in Afghanistan saying they would fight to the last Afghan. Now, do they want to make Ukraine fight to the last Ukrainian? The truth has already torn off the mask of America as a defender of peace, exposing the real nature of stirring up chaos. Though the Foreign Ministry spokesperson spoke confidently in front of the cameras, many commentators dismissed the remarks, saying, "Diplomacy seems to be out of control, with statements that make no sense. There's no coherent counter-arguments, just confusing words." One user summed it up, pretending to be serious while lying, doing the bidding of others, and spewing nonsense. One of the most memorable incidents was when Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi responded to questions about China's human rights record. He was seen rolling his eyes and angrily confronting reporters. "I need to respond to the journalist's question about China. Your question is full of bias against China and arrogance. I don't know where it came from, and I can't accept it. Do you understand China? Have you ever been to China? Do you know that China has lifted over 600 million people out of extreme poverty? Do you know that China is now the second largest economy in the world, with a per capita income of $8,000? If we hadn't protected human rights, could China have grown this fast? Do you know that China has made the protection of human rights part of our constitution? Let me tell you, the people who know the human rights situation in China best are the Chinese people themselves, not you. You have no say in this matter. China does. So please stop asking such irresponsible questions. China welcomes all constructive suggestions, but we reject any baseless accusations." Wang Yi's evasive attitude quickly spread online, sparking widespread debate. A vlogger even created a parody video mocking Wang Yi's behavior, which gained praise from viewers. However, the video was soon banned in China.
I heard you hit your wife and kids at home.
They couldn't even afford food before, but now they live a good life.
I'm asking if you've ever hit them.
Our life is great now, and everyone can see that.
I didn't ask that. I just asked, have you ever hit your wife or kids?
Why don't you care about old Lou's family hitting their wife and kids?
I'm asking you, did you hit your wife or kids?
Has your family never hit their wife and kids? From my research, your great-grandfather hit his wife and kids over 100 years ago.
I'm asking you, did you hit your wife or kids?
Our family has made it a rule to hit the wife and kids if necessary.
So, did you follow the family rules?
Family rules are our own business. No one else has a right to interfere. In recent years, China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has been criticized for its combative approach. Despite this, the Chinese government seems to take pride in these confrontations, using the ministry's press conferences as educational material for elementary school students to improve people's literacy. Over time, these propaganda sessions have led to more extreme, cynical views among Chinese students. Recently, a primary school student even broke down in tears while talking about China.
Is China the best? Say it 5 times. China is the best. China is the strongest. China is leading in everything. China is the greatest country. China is the best place. Where are all those great leaders like Chairman Mao from? When they all from China? China is the best.
This has raised concerns about the image of China presented to the world by children growing up in such an environment. What kind of impression will these children give when they travel abroad? The Chinese government's aggressive rhetoric isn't limited to diplomacy. It also extends to actions on American soil. A typical example occurred when Chinese officials or party leaders visited the US, mobilizing crowds of supposed supporters, sometimes using organized crime and prostitutes. In mid-November 2023, when Xi Jinping attended the APEC meeting in the Bay Area of California, the Chinese government arranged for people from other regions to fly in to welcome him. They were provided with tickets, accommodations, and payments ranging from $100 to $400. Among the crowds in Flushing, New York, there were even prostitutes soliciting clients. Faced with large protests from overseas Chinese and other groups, Chinese authorities used gangsters, spies, and special agents to violently suppress dissent. Dozens of protesters from mainland China, Hong Kong, and Tibetan communities were attacked, leaving several injured and 3 hospitalized. In addition to aggressive diplomatic actions, the Chinese government has been involved in international theft and fraud, particularly in the realm of intellectual property. China's intellectual property theft is described as a whole society approach. The government uses intelligence agencies, technology investments, academic partnerships, research collaborations, mergers, and acquisitions to steal sensitive technologies. Targets include aerospace, deep sea technology, biotechnology, information technology, manufacturing, clean energy, battery technologies, and DNA genomics. FBI officials have noted that Chinese spies target everything from corn seeds to aircraft parts, business information, and top technologies in American university labs. William Evanina, director of the U.S. National Counterintelligence and Security Center, estimated that China's theft of American commercial secrets costs the U.S. between $300 billion and $600 billion US dollars annually. This pattern of theft, fraud, and manipulation has raised alarms in the West. In recent years, many countries have started rejecting or limiting Chinese investments in infrastructure, citing national security concerns. The economic impact is clear not only in the case of Huawei's 5G and DJI drones, but even in the limitations placed on Chinese-made cranes in ports. Experts warn that, for governments worldwide, especially those in the West, there should be no illusion left about China's path towards freedom and democracy. Any promises made by the Chinese government must first be treated with skepticism, then verified, and ultimately met with strength. Some experts have concluded that the internal and external challenges faced by China today are a result of the one-party dictatorship of the Chinese Communist Party. This crisis stems from the moral decay within the Chinese leadership, which uses brutal methods against both the Chinese people and the rest of the world. In fact, all the factors for the collapse of the CCP are now in place, from corruption to financial risks and high debt. Once proud wolf warriors have turned into clowns and are being abandoned by the international community.